So, what if I told you that back in 1983, the US Army working for the CIA wrote a report that concluded our physical reality, well, that it isn't actually real, that it's all just an incredibly elaborate projected hologram? And what if I told you they were actively trying to figure out how to escape it? Yeah, okay, let's jump right into this declassified document that basically challenges everything we think we know.
And here it is. This isn't some prop from a sci-fi movie. This is the real deal. It's the official cover page for the analysis and assessment of Gateway Process. And just look at who it's from, the U.S. Army Intelligence and Security Command. This is a legitimate government document written by a lieutenant colonel, all about scientifically validating things like out-of-body experiences and transcending time and space. You know, it's that official, almost boring bureaucratic look that makes what's inside so absolutely shocking.
Deep inside this report, after pages and pages of dense technical analysis on brain function and quantum mechanics, you find this line. The author, Wayne McDonald, literally writes, "Now the fun begins." This is the exact moment the document just pivots from dry scientific analysis to something way more speculative, way more mind-bending. This is where our deep dive really starts. So this is the central kind of unsettling question that this whole document poses. It frames our entire existence not as some solid, reliable certainty, but as a construct, a holographic projection that our consciousness is basically locked inside. But, and here's the kicker, the report claims there's a way out. Okay, so if reality is a prison, how did they think they could unlock it? Well, the answer starts with a very specific technique, one aimed at hacking directly into human consciousness, a technique they called the gateway process. Let's get into the practical, how-to part of this whole mystery. Right at the heart of this thing is a technology called hemisync. It was developed by a researcher named Robert Monroe, and it uses something called binaural beats. So imagine you're wearing headphones, right? A specific frequency plays in your left ear, and a slightly different one plays in your right. Your brain, trying to make sense of this, actually creates a third, phantom beat that gets both hemispheres of your brain to sync up. The whole goal is to get your logical, analytical left brain and your creative, intuitive right brain working together in perfect coherence. Think of it like tuning your entire mind to one very specific, very powerful channel. The report actually breaks the whole method down into 4 clear steps. First, the person has to achieve bodily resonance by humming, literally tuning their physical body to a specific vibration. Second, they introduce the hemisync audio to get their brainwaves in sync. This, they say, leads to step 3, entering an altered state of expanded consciousness. And, okay, here's where it gets really weird. The final step is to form what the report calls an energy balloon with your consciousness, which you can then use to leave your physical body and just start exploring. Now, what's so fascinating here is why hemisync is so important. The report argues that when your brain is in this synchronized state, your intuitive right brain can suddenly receive these huge amounts of information from the universe. Meanwhile, your computer-like left brain acts like a translator, turning all that raw data into something you can actually understand. It's like turning on both the receiver and the decoder at the exact same time. Okay, so we've got the method, hemisync. But the big question is still there. Why would synchronizing your brainwaves let you leave your body? The answer, it turns out, is in the fundamental model of reality the CIA was working with. To even begin to understand the gateway process, you first have to see the universe the way they did, as a giant universal hologram. And this is where things get really, really strange. So this is the crucial point. The entire foundation of this whole project, the entire gateway process, it all rests on one absolutely radical idea. The chair you're sitting in, the screen you're looking at, even your own body, none of it, they argue, is truly solid. It's a fundamental challenge to, our entire experience of life. And believe me, this isn't just our interpretation. As you can see right here, in this excerpt from the document, the report states that our universe is an extraordinarily complex system of energy fields. It argues that what we perceive as solid stuff is just an illusion created by a super dense, super complex dance of energy. Our world isn't made of things, it's made of vibrations. This really illustrates the central concept, the consciousness matrix. Citing respected physicists, mind you, the report proposes that the universe itself is one gigantic hologram. And our consciousness, well, it's a smaller hologram that can tune itself to the big one, essentially reading all the information stored inside it. Reality, in this model, is basically just an act of perception And all of this brings us to the ultimate goal of the entire project. I mean, if you can hack your brain to perceive a holographic reality, what's the point? What was the CIA hoping to actually do with that? Well, this is the great reveal, the idea of moving beyond time and space itself. After all of this theory, all this talk about brain waves and holograms, what was the US Army actually trying to do? What was the intended application for this kind of incredible power? And the report just gives us the answer, straight up. The objective was to explain, quote, how and why human consciousness can be brought to transcend the limitations of time, space. Just think about that for a second. The goal was nothing less than to break free from the constraints of our physical reality, to prove that our consciousness isn't stuck in the here and now. And the potential applications they lay out in the report are just staggering. We're not talking about simple meditation here. The document claims this process could lead to out-of-body experiences, the ability to literally see into the past or the future, contact with non-physical beings from other dimensions, and, of course, the holy grail for any intelligence agency, remote viewing, the ability to spy on any location on Earth without ever leaving your chair. This quote, which is cited right there in the report, it just perfectly captures the massive paradigm shift at the heart of this thing. I mean, we all just assume our brain creates our mind, right? But what if that's completely backward? What if consciousness is the fundamental thing, and it's what creates the illusion of our physical brain and the entire material world? And so that leaves us with one final, kind of haunting question. If our reality really is a hologram, and the gateway process is the key that unlocks the door, where does consciousness go when it leaves? What is on the other side? The CIA was trying to find out. We may never know if they actually succeeded, but the very fact that they were asking these questions and documenting their findings in an official military report is what makes this one of the most profound and unsettling declassified files ever released. It really forces us to question the very fabric of our reality. What do you think is out there?